Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of What's New Lads Weekly Football Fix. Thank you for everyone that joined us last week. We're hoping that this will continue forward for this foreseeable. We're just going to go through last week's results, so the news that's been about in the football world this week, and also give a bit of a nod to the fixtures coming up in the week ahead. So first of all, guys, I just want to ask, what do you think was your performance of the week? We'll start with Martin.
I think performance of the week's got to be either Manchester United beating Manchester City in the big derby, or Tottenham Hotspur taking out Crystal Palace 4-1. Bale, Kane and Son on the bits. For me, either of those two. I think obviously Manchester United ending the 21 winning streak of Man City's probably got to top it.
Music to my ears.
What do you reckon, man?
Yeah, I'd have to go with one of those two. Despite Man United winning, I was pretty happy to see City's streak come to an end. So there's silver linings to these things, you know.
Big time.
Naim, you the same?
Yeah, no, I would have to go with Tottenham. To be fair, I'm actually quite happy Tottenham won, and I'm happy Bell played, and actually Bell played really good. So yeah, I'm happy he's doing something else different to golf. I'm happy. It's a good sign. I'm liking it.
You're happy Tottenham won? Is this coming from a Chelsea fan?
Ooh, that's some shade right there.
You know what? Nah, you know what? I don't like, particularly I don't like United or Tottenham, mostly because of the fans. But just to see, Gareth Bale and Harry Kane on top, top form it's nice to see. It's nice to see.
So then, keeping with that, do you now think Tottenham are back to their best, or do you think this is just a quick little sort of 2-week run, and they'll go on to lose against Arsenal?
I don't know.
For me, go on, Naim, you go first.
Go on, Martin, you go.
All right, I will. Since you asked so nicely, I think just because they seem to dip in and out so infrequently, I don't think there's any consistency there. And I think they seem to be. I think they won not too long ago against another team. It was often, and the same comments were made. So it's very inconsistent. I think only time will tell with these things. I don't think that you're seeing the Tottenham of old just yet. You know that they'll probably go and lose 1-0 to Brighton next week or something, and we'll all be saying Mourinho out again. So for me, I don't.
Derby game as well. Anything can happen, as they say.
Yeah.
That's true. They got Arsenal next week, don't they?
Yeah, I think with Tottenham, I'd say their front four, as in Kane, Son, Bale, and I'm going to include Lucas Moura in that as well. I think they're firing off at the moment. They're playing really well. But the problems still lie at the back for Tottenham. We've seen it. I think they've scored so many goals this season. But they've also let in so many, and they've let so many leads slip.
You know what? I feel like with Tottenham, they are such a good side. They are a very good side. But what I've noticed is when Harry Kane gets injured, that's when they have the problems. When Kane gets injured and he's out for 3 or 4 months, which most of the time he is, that's when you look at Son, and Son doesn't know what he's doing with the ball. It's normally it's I'm going to dribble, I'm going to do what I need to do, then I'm going to get it to Kane. But when Kane's there, they haven't got a second striker. And Gareth Bale at the time wasn't on that level. So I feel like if we see Harry Kane get injured again, which hopefully he doesn't, if he does, it's going to be a very, very... That's when you'll see if Tottenham have it.
Okay, how about...
to see how long he stays. Imagine if they don't end up winning anything, ever. Do you think he'll end his career there?
If I'm Harry Kane, I'm leaving. If we're not in
I
the
think
Champions
he'll leave
League,
if they don't get trophies.
Seasons to come,
Yeah, that'll be a sticky one for them.
Okay, how about this one? I know what answer I want to hear, but I also know what answer I'm probably going to hear. The Man United derby, or the Manchester derby. Do you think that has changed anything?
No.
For either team?
No.
If you look at the performance as well, City, although they lost, it wasn't a terrible performance. And
yeah,
I think Pep was saying these things sort of happen in football. So I think it does little to alter the Premier League in terms of where people.
It's one of those things that Man United fans are just going to love, though. It's a very much for me. It's so strange to see City they always seem to buckle against United. And it's one of those things, they seem to just be the bogey team. No matter what form either team's in, it's always United.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we did. The thing is, I think I'm hoping we can build on this and start actually performing consistently in big games, because I think that's where we've lost it, both against the big six and in semi-finals throughout the years. I'm hoping we can build on this sort of thing. And
I feel like that win for United, I feel like it won't change anything for the league. I think City have won the league already.
Yeah.
But what I would say is they're basically, that win was just for morale, just for United to know that they've beaten the leaders and they can actually retain a spot in the Champions League. But apart from that, it's changed nothing. City will win the league, and United, given that morale, they'll take a second spot, maybe third if Chelsea catch up.
Cements them in the top 4, United as well.
Yeah.
We'd be saying like, oh, is there a chance that they might slip up and not make top 4? But yeah,
another one as well. I want to get your boys' opinion on. What do we think was the flop of the week? What's he? I mean, again, I think there's kind of obvious answers. So we'll start with Martin. Who do you think was the flop of the week?
I've got a few teams written down here. I've put City as the main one, but I think Liverpool, obviously, actually, no, sorry, not City as the main one. Liverpool is the main one for obvious reasons. That loss against Fulham is absolutely shocking. And it shows what form they're in. I mean, they've had, obviously, I think they had 5 defeats going in a row at home going into that game.
6 now.
But to lose 1-0 to Fulham that kind of capitulates them completely. Where do they go from here? Can they survive? It's not even just that, we're missing this, that, and we're missing these players. It's more like, now, have they got the mentality? Are they strong enough mentally to come back from this? Because right now, they'd be lucky to get Europa League. But I do also just want to say, while we're here, Newcastle, they are dropping down rapidly at the moment as well. That draw against West Brom, that was a must-win game for them, surely. And now it looks like, they're 17th? And Fulham form picking up as well. That win against Liverpool, obviously putting them in that area. So it's going to be very tight come the end of the season.
Yeah, well, I will say as well, I watched what I could of the Newcastle West Brom game, and I also watched Bournemouth Watford the other week. I'll tell you what, Bournemouth Watford was much better quality. Much better quality. If you had to watch both of those games and not been told what league they were in, you'd think Bournemouth Watford was the Premier League game and West Brom Newcastle was the Championship game. I think they're just performing like Championship teams at the moment, and neither of them had anything going forward. Just didn't look like they were going to score at all.
Going back to Liverpool, though, they've got Leipzig at home. And being at home sort of doesn't really mean much for them anymore. Do you think they've got a 2-0 lead? Do you think they'll be able to hold that?
Well, I think they also rested a few players this week for probably as a look ahead to Leipzig. But staying with that point about Liverpool, what do you guys think has created that demise? Where do you think they have fallen and why?
I think it has to come down to injuries. I feel like if they had Van Dijk, they had Henderson. Obviously, he's recently been injured, but I feel like especially someone like Van Dijk and someone like Henderson, that's 2 key players. That's your captain, and basically you're probably, don't quote me here, one of their best ever centre backs. You lose 2 of them, and you're basically in a bit of a pickle anyway. You lost Gomez as well and Matip. So look at the defence line. They had Henderson, and they got, I don't know what his name is, Phillips.
Yeah.
Nah. That's not nice. Losing those players.
I'm Liverpool anyway.
As a counterpoint to that, they still had those players when they lost 7-2 to Aston Villa. So is it just down to those players, or is there something more behind the scenes? And also, again, further to that, why is there so many injuries?
Well, they play more games than most teams. Do you get me? Because they play that edition of the Champions League. Like the whole point of Champions League, obviously you're playing better football, but you have to remember they're only people and they're playing more football as well. So that's more opportunities to get injured. Look at the fixtures and how many days they have off. They don't have many days off. So most teams will have injuries. But if you're playing Champions League and you're playing different cups,
all the cup games,
of course you're going to get injured.
I guess it's the same for all the other top teams, though.
Yeah, true. It's just Liverpudlians have weak bones.
Maybe.
I think I saw an interesting article the other day, actually. And it was about basically how last season they dealt with all that Champions League games. And I think the word that they used in this article was caffeine doping, which again, it sounds worse than it is. It's not like illegal or anything like that. But basically, it's sort of a lot of sports scientists think it's sort of like a dangerous practice and leads to injuries. And it's interesting that these sort of articles came out about a year ago predicting this. And again, I'm not a Liverpool expert. I'm not really a football expert. Do you know what I mean? Like, as much as I think I am.
Naim done that leading up to Frigby with Coca-Cola.
When you say caffeine doping, do you mean like they get like a, I don't know, what do you mean by doping?
Well, so
doping with caffeine.
So basically, the story.
With, like, coffee or something.
No, because the story was that basically, obviously, they had a lot of games. Like you said, they had a lot of games in Champions League, a lot of midweek games, and where you'd have a lot of games in a week, they'd basically design their nutrition so that your caffeine levels basically give you a ton of energy for the games.
They will get double espressos during the rondo.
Is she joking?
The game's gone, lads. The game's
gone. Not the double espressos, but the doping thing. Yeah, it's just interesting because it's. I know Jurgen Klopp before has sort of had a couple people say that his management of the players' general health isn't always where it should be. So again, it's interesting. Again, I don't know. It's all speculation, really. But it's interesting whether that has played a factor or not.
I guess there'd be nowhere to prove that really as well. So.
No, well, and again, it could be that all the top teams do this and it's general practice. Right. We don't know. So, boys, I'm also gonna look at your fantasy football teams. Who is one person that you absolutely have to put in this week, and who is one person that you should leave on the bench or just sell?
I think if you didn't have Harry Kane in this week, you're probably looking to get him in very soon. 2 goals, 2 assists. Probably a bunch of the other Spurs players, but definitely Kane. You'd want to have him in.
Is Bale going to worm his way in as well, do you think? Is this the week that everyone jumps on that bandwagon? I mean, what has he had, like, goals and assists in the last 2 games? He's looking quite...
Naim's jumped on that bandwagon. And...
Has he really?
Yeah. I will say one thing. So I actually changed my team. I had no players from Spurs at all. After that game, I put in Bale, Son, and Kane. I'm not bottom. Thank you very much.
I'm
relegation. I'm not bottom. Yeah, I took a -12. I actually did.
That's ridiculous.
And I put, I don't care. Mine's not catching up. But yeah, they're playing against Arsenal though, so I don't think they'll be as effective. So it's an L I have to take.
Doesn't Kane always turn up against Arsenal? I mean, it seems to be that he always gets a goal. Or assist. I think in the last game, I'm pretty sure he scored a goal and got an assist, and Son was on the other side of that. So it could be 2 to.
Well, he's a boyhood Arsenal fan, isn't he?
He is.
He's one of their own, I hear.
What's a relevant point that is?
So Naim, are you going with who did you put in? What, just Bale, Kane, Son?
Bale, Kane, and Son. I'll be honest with you. Apart from that, no, that's it. The thing is, I had some quite good players in there, like Luke Shaw, who obviously scored during the week. Fernandez, who scored during the week. So to be fair, I did quite well. Still at the bottom, but soon.
I don't like to disclose transfer strategy because certain people like to copy my team. So
to be fair, you are top, and I need to catch you.
I'm just saying, 1 week Naim wildcarded, and then he had like my entire team.
Should say that as a compliment.
Sally Mandem, I hope you get relegated.
Mine, what about you? Are you on this Tottenham hype, or are you going to put in a Southampton youth player?
Mate, saying that, I did have Ward-Prowse on my bench and I missed out on 11 points.
Mate,
so
you should have had him in.
Yeah, but I've also got Gundogan on, and obviously we're
Yeah.
playing City on Wednesday, so I can't imagine that is going to go too well for us, especially after like losing out to United. They're going to want a reaction.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Hopefully, it's not 10-0 though.
Could see.
I hope not
it
too.
is,
I want to
to be
keep that record.
Could see what faith JB had in United. He had Diaz as captain.
Oh,
Well, thing is, Diaz has
Dear
scored. He
me.
scored a little bit recently. He's got 2 games, so he's likely to get at least 1 clean sheet. Obviously, one's gone now, but against Southampton, hopefully he'll get a clean sheet. I thought it was a safe option, but we will see.
On paper,
will
it
see.
was.
got back your boys.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020, so who knows? So yeah, who's one player that you boys are taking out of your fantasy?
Vardy. Vardy's come out. He's come off the boil lately. I'm not a fan of the way that he's been going. I don't think he's going to get in the goals anytime soon. I think my front three are now Calvert-Lewin, Kane, and Bamford. So I think, not a bad shout right there.
Yeah, I mean, for strikers, it's got to be them. Maybe Antonio thrown in.
Yeah, Antonio. Yeah.
Potentially, I could roll this transfer and have two free transfers for the next week.
Might be a shot.
Yeah, it could be. I don't want to be taking any -12s, so.
Don't want to do a Naim.
I can't believe you did that.
The truth is, boys, let's be honest. I'm not going to win, but I'm not going to lose. So I thought to myself, I might as well lose comfortably and get some 95, 100 weeks. Do you get me? 100-point weeks. If I get top 3, then that's a victory to me. Do you get me?
Bro, you're not beating me, let alone top 3.
Yeah.
Excuse you,
boys.
Martin. Let's look at the points, please. No. Josh, give me 2 seconds. Martin,
he's about 70 points above you.
Yeah, keep going. It's fine.
Yeah.
Keep taking -12s, mate. You'll be all right.
Naim, I'm doing this for your benefit, mate.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Right, so another big talking point in the football world this week. Rangers have effectively, or they have now, won the Scottish Premier League for the first time in 10 years. What do you boys think of that? What do you think it means for the club and particularly for Steven Gerrard as well in one of his first seasons there getting such success?
I think it's good seeing competition because there's nothing more boring than when one team wins the league every year. Like you see it in Germany, Italy.
Yeah.
So it's good to see some more competition. It makes the game better.
I think it's especially big for Gerrard to actually, he's come away with something there. He had a few in recent quite a few disappointments. I know he lost that cup final in which they really shouldn't have lost. And there's been a few back and forths. Obviously, they're big rivals in the SPL with Celtic. So it's, I think from their point of view, it's great to see him. Hopefully, it's broken that barrier and, like you say, Matt, broken up the competition a bit more.
Sure.
Yeah, and do you think, as well, there's been a bit of talk of this, if Jurgen Klopp was to leave Liverpool, what do you think about Steven Gerrard taking charge? Do you think if Liverpool carry on like this, they should sack Klopp and bring in Gerrard?
That's too soon.
Seem to remind me of a team that brought in a legend who then got sacked not too long after a series of poor results, who had little to no experience in the Premier League management scene. I wouldn't give him the job just yet.
As well, like where would you rank Scottish football in comparison to the Premier League?
League One.
You'd say League
Not
One.
League One.
Maybe a bit higher, but
Okay, tell you what, a hypothetical. If Rangers go on to, let's say, get in the final of the Europa League or even win the Europa League, how do you think that changes things? Then does Steven Gerrard become potentially a manager who could manage in a top 10 Prem team?
I think if Gerrard was to obviously manage Rangers into the Europa League and win, I think that changes the whole ball game because technically he's taken him into a Champions League spot. And obviously Europa League is, teams that win the Europa League are good teams. Like, they are good teams. I would definitely say that Gerrard is a big.
Anyway,
just that way. The thing is, like, Man United shouldn't, and this is me personally, like when Chelsea, we won the Europa League against Arsenal a few years back, I wasn't entirely happy because Europa League, you know, I'm not being rude, Martin. If Southampton to win the Europa League, mate, we're going out for beers. Do you get me? But Chelsea is like, yeah, it's standard. Like, we should be winning it. We should be winning it. We should be competing in the Champions League. But for Rangers, I think that's a big thing. I think if they won that, I do think they'll probably pay Gerrard a bit more to stay on and get them, see how far they go in the Champions League. But he's definitely not ready for the Premier League.
No, I think it is big for just Scottish football in general. You know, there's a big divide, 100%. And I think having that competition might bring over some viewers, bring over some, you know, a bit of TV money and stuff like that. And they might be able to sort of spread that around the other clubs and make a very competitive, very interesting league. Because it's all very historical. You know, Scottish people love their football.
Indeed.
So
We've got some good players coming through in the Prem as well, Scotland.
Good players, good stadiums as well, very good stadiums. So I would like to see Scottish football sort of become more competitive and become a bit more of a top sort of European league. But keeping with the Prem, looking at the bottom of the Prem, obviously, like we mentioned earlier, Fulham 1-0 against Liverpool. Great result. Do you think they're now going to stay up? I mean, they're not out of the relegation zone yet, but do you think they will stay up? And if so, who do you think will go down?
Potentially Newcastle. They've got to win their game in hand, essentially. There's a lot riding on that. I think Brighton should be able to stay up, but it's between Fulham and Newcastle.
Yeah.
I agree. It's going to be interesting to see come the end of the season who's got the mentality for it. Because I don't know if you guys have been watching any of those teams, but Brighton especially, they've been actually playing quite good football. They just haven't been getting the results. So I think that if anyone deserves to stay up, it's them. But Fulham have been doing bits as well. So I'd rather see Newcastle go down. Not because of that. I feel bad for the fans, really, because like they're playing horrible football with a very expensive team. And, you know, the owner just doesn't care anymore. And it's obviously been around for a while now, but it's pretty sad to see.
Well, he wants to sell them as well. He wants to sell
get
them.
It done. I think that's best case for everyone involved.
I think that's one of the interesting things is they're sticking on to Steve Bruce, who has kept them in this awful run of form. And the last 2 seasons where they've been nearly relegated, they've brought in a manager last minute. Sometimes being able to keep them up, sometimes not. So it's interesting that Mike Ashley has sort of changed his approach this time and doesn't seem to be in the hunt for a new manager towards the end of the season.
What's Benitez up to nowadays?
That was a shock. I was shocked when that happened. I didn't think he would go, with all due respect to Newcastle, I didn't think he would go that sort of low. Right, so boys, out of the upcoming fixtures for this week, what do you think will be the shock result of the week? Start with Matt.
I think potentially if West Ham were to beat United, I know they're all sort of at the top of the table, but they've just come off a win against City, so I think that would be quite an upset. But from a Chelsea point of view, it'd probably be beneficial to us to see United win that.
Yeah, definitely. Any points to United drop at the moment, easy fodder for Leicester, Chelsea and the alike. What about you, Naim?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I'll probably go with the Fulham Man City game. It's either going to go 2 ways. It's either Man City are going to absolutely, whitewash them 3-4-0, or Fulham. I feel like it'll be 2-1 to Fulham.
Yeah, I think Fulham can build on 1-0 Liverpool, then 2-1 against City the next week.
Can you imagine?
Martin, what about you?
I'd probably, I don't know, maybe think Chelsea against Leeds might be quite a good one to watch out for. I mean, they're obviously both
fiery.
I think Leeds have dropped off quite a bit. Chelsea are in some good form. Bielsa might want to, reinvigorate things. He might be looking to do that against an up-and-coming Chelsea team who might, 1 or 2 goals knock past them and might shock their confidence a bit. So might be one to keep your eye on.
Yeah, good shout that. Good shout. It'd be a big result if it did. And again, like Matt said, if West Ham beat us, then big result for them. If Chelsea lose, that's a good result for us, really. So I'd be happy. So I reckon, thing is with this one, my head says to go with Wolves against Liverpool because Liverpool are in an awful run of form. Wolves are, they're a good football team, you know, not been the same since they lost Jimenez, but they are a good football team. And I think the only other problem is my heart says I want to go for Fulham Man City because I would absolutely love it if Fulham could beat Man City. And then the title race is on.
Dream on.
Even man, no chance, surely.
Can live in hope. Nah, I can't imagine we'll win the league, but you know, it's nice to dream. Well, that's it from us. That was weekly football fix of the football every week.
How many times did you say weekly football weekly?
Matt, keep this in, please.
And that was episode 2 of the What's New Lads Weekly Football Fix. Thank you for everyone that's been listening along. Don't forget to listen to our main podcast, the What's New Lads Time to Talk. Links will be in the description and they'll all be on our page. So, yeah, from all of us, from me, from Matt, from Naim and Martin, take care and we hope to see you next week. Goodbye.
Cheers, guys.